Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Monday afternoon live stream. This is, well, we can call it a new segment, but like I said, I'm going to be doing daily live streams to keep myself accountable. If you are not sure why I'm doing this right now, maybe you missed last night's live stream, but I'll talk about it today. So before I begin, hello everyone, M7, Universal Being, Joy, Juice, Spike, BMJ, Tire Chick, Noreen, Select, Priceman 5, Lynn, Lori. Did I miss anyone? I think I got everyone. Hello, welcome. This isn't going to be a super long live stream. This is a place for me to share my accountability, to let you know how I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. But if this is helpful for you as well to share your accountability, I would like you to share what your accountability is, what your goals are, if you're doing well, if you're struggling. That's what this place should be for. It should be a safe space for all of us to share how we're doing, how things are going. And if it helps you to stay accountable, keep with it. Keep with it. So today is day 631 of my fasting journey, my health and wellness journey. It's weird doing this in the afternoon versus doing it on Sunday evenings. And just to get the record straight, these live streams on Monday through Saturday, they will be at various times. They're not always going to be at this time. They're usually going to be when I have probably about a free hour in the day. Because I have so much going on, if you aren't aware, yesterday's live stream, I talked about how I'm moving. And I'm moving out of the country. And I have a lot on my plate. And it's one of the reasons that, and again, if you missed yesterday's live stream, I talked about how I binged for the first time in 624 days. And a big reason I did that was because I felt very overwhelmed. I ended up stress eating, comfort eating, emotionally eating, and it really messed with my psyche. And it also made me realize how important accountability is. I always knew it was important, but this is me doubling down on keeping myself in check. So let's go ahead, and I have nerdy stats to share with you all. This is going to be something I'm going to be doing on a regular basis. I am trying to build a structure to how these live streams are going to be on a day-to-day basis. And so over time, they will probably have a specific flow. But for now, you're just going to have to roll with what I got at the moment. So today is day 631 of my fasting journey, my health and wellness journey. Today is Monday, July 28th, 2025. But I want to point out here, day 631. I just shared yesterday, and I just shared right now, that I binged and I overate and I lost control, and it was a shitty week for me. But am I sitting here starting over? No, absolutely not. Am I here telling myself I am entering day one of my journey? No, absolutely not. Like I said, today is day 631 of my journey. And before I dig into maybe a couple things about my game plan and everything, I want to talk again about what happened. How did I gain 30 pounds in the last 5 weeks? I was 139.8 pounds about 5 weeks ago. And a couple days ago, I was 169.6 pounds. Now, to be fair, I am no longer 169.6 pounds. I will give you that info. Now, this is something I'm going to do on an everyday basis. My accountability is going to share with you where my weight's at, what my plans are at, what my fasting level's at, where my head is at, how I'm feeling, maybe what I ate the night before. I haven't put all of that out there just yet. But again, I am trying to form a structure on how this is going to work. Like I said, also, if this is helpful for you, share with us. Let us know how you're doing. If you're struggling, how things are going. So like I said, I gained 30 pounds in the last 5 weeks. It didn't happen in like a 5 week, I just binged the entire time. This was literally me gaining weights in different phases. So the first part of this 30-pound gain happened when I went to Toronto and I was gone for a week. I went from 139.8 to 151, about a 11-pound gain. I did feel very in control there. If you want to see what that looks like, I did put a video out for that. But then about a week later, I ate back-to-back days. And I just want to stress here that these back-to-back eating days, the issue that I ate back-to-back days, that's really not the problem. The problem was when I ate back-to-back days, they were mindless. They were out of control. They were out of stress or looking for comfort. It was me performing avoidant behavior because sometimes for me, shit happens in life, and my old habits that I've been doing for 40 plus years is to eat. So then I can forget about it and push it off to the side and not worry about it. But what ends up happening is then I overeat and I eat the entire day because I keep telling myself in my head, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to start tomorrow. I don't have to worry about it right now. So I'm going to eat whatever I want. And it's a very common thing, not only for me, but with many other people that I talk to and many other people that I coach. And hopefully I can at least share with you all where my head is at and how I am trying to get out of this. So just to kind of push on here, on days 606 to 611, I ate 6 back-to-back days. I went from 143.6 to 160.8, 17.2 pound gain. And then about a week later, I ate for a week straight. This was probably the worst week that I've had ever since I got back on my journey. On days 624 and days 625, I binged for the first time in over a year and a half. And my weight went from 147.8 to 169.6. I want you to see here, look at the highlighted sections. I started at 139.8, and then I gained weight. And then I was using food for comfort, using food to relieve stress. And even though I got the weight back down, getting back on my ADF plan, it wasn't at 139.8. I gained the weight because I was mindlessly eating. And then you'll see that again, the third highlight, from 143.6 to 147.8. What I'm saying here is, if you keep having these strings of fucking up, having a bad week, it'll eventually catch up to you, which is what has happened to me over this last month. It took me 5 weeks to realize that I was really stress eating, comfort eating, because I could not get into the groove of taking action of the whole checklist of things that I need to do before I move. It's really interesting when I think about my past and other things that have caused me to do similar things. I have lost really good career opportunities because of the same thing. I felt overwhelmed. I felt like I had a million things to do. And then I ended up using food for comfort. And then that destroyed my career. That destroyed the job I was working at. That's destroyed relationships that I've been in, friendships that I've had lifelong friendships, right? That have gone awry or gone sour because of my avoidant behavior. And this cycle is something that, here's the thing, it's been 624 days, and I'm very proud of myself that it took this long to get a binge to happen. I'm not proud of the binge. It's not what I wanted to do, but to know that it's been over a year and a half since anything like that's happened, to me, is a success. On top of that, to know that I have now, instead of turning or having this binge turn into a week-long binge, into a month binge, into a year or two, right? Like when I left YouTube in 2021 and I was gone for 2 years, I'm glad that didn't happen. And I want to talk about that today. I want at least to give my perspective on how this goes. So when I think about where I'm at today and why I've been able to catch myself just a week later, I think a big part of that is I let my habits do the work. I have been doing something so habitually now over and over and over that me hitting a timer, my fasting timer is habitual. Me stepping on the scale and making sure I'm accountable is habitual. Me showing up to my coaching sessions, me having Sunday night live streams, even though I didn't show up last Sunday. Well, I showed up yesterday, but the Sunday prior. The habit has been so ingrained in me that it has taught me to be better about what I'm doing, to know that, yes, there are going to be times that I falter. There are going to be times that things get difficult. But I know that I have a game plan. And all I have to do is adhere to that game plan, get back on it, show accountability, and I know that's going to help me. I'll try to answer questions while I'm here. So as I go through this, if you want to ask, please feel free. It doesn't mean I'm gonna answer everything, but like if they're pertinent, I think they'll be helpful. Gobbly Bear asks, do you ever get the urge to binge when the sun goes down? I mean, the short answer to this is yes, but maybe the longer answer to this is because when I would do the all or nothing type thinking, meaning that I would tell myself, okay, Jerome, you're going to fast for 5 days or 3 days or whatever that number looks like. And let's say I'm on my first day of doing it. I wake up in the morning after a binge from the night before, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for my walk. I'm going to go lift weights. I'm going to fast 90 hours minimum. And then by the evening, when I'm feeling hungry, I end up breaking. And I don't know if it's so much because the sun goes down, but I think it's more because I'm hungry and I'm trying to do an all or nothing thing, trying to go completely extreme, and then realizing that it's so difficult for me that I'm going to push it off for another day. And then I'm going to push it off again for another day, another day, another day. And literally all you're doing is kicking the can down the road because you're in an all or nothing mindset. You're not thinking about how can I do something in the middle that is still going to benefit me and still going to help me push forward on my journey. Andreas asks here, do you eat clean on your eating days? Yes and no. When I first started this journey, I ate whatever I wanted. I ate fast food. I ate 6,000, 7,000 calories. Today, it's a lot cleaner than it used to be. If you want to see what that looks like, all you have to do is look at my videos, Andreas, and you can see what that looks like. For now, today, I'm refeeding today. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to be eating clean or clean-ish, but it's never going to be perfect. I don't believe in eating in a perfect way, fasting in a perfect way, because at the end of the day, our lives aren't perfect. There is no perfect solution, which is why for anybody who's on their journey, everything is an individual type of journey. The way I eat isn't going to be the way you eat. The way I exercise, the way I fast is not going to be the same way that you perform those tasks. But I think we all know that there are healthy habits that you can do that are pretty much universal that we can all adhere to. It's just a matter of, can you tweak it enough so that it can be actually consistent and sustainable for the long run to get you actual success, in what you're doing. So as I talk about when I binged on day 624, which is now 6 days ago, a lot has changed since then, because when I started getting into my 2-day binge, so yes, I did eat for an entire week, back to back days. Many of those days were uncontrolled, but the only actual binge days where I really just let everything go and found myself in my former self, that only lasted 2 days. And instead of letting that run for 2+ years, I'm back here now sharing that story yesterday and sharing it again today. And I really look at that as a huge win, to be able to come here and be like, yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I ate for a week in a row. Yeah, I binged after not binging for over a year and a half. Yesterday, I did fit check and I stood back there and I felt awful about the way I looked, because the weight has put on over the last 5 weeks. And now I'm playing this game where it's like, okay, you really need to get back on it. You can't have these mindless eating days. And I'm not saying that you can't eat what you want. I'm not saying you can't enjoy those things. You can't just have it every single day and then kick the can down the road playing this all or nothing game, because when you do, really, you're just digging yourself a deeper hole. You're really fighting an uphill battle that I think can be contained if you work on your other levers and stop thinking in this black or white mindset. But I'm going to get into that in a little bit. So let me share this again. And so again, this is what happened and how I went from 139.8 5 weeks ago to 169.6. So here's the thing. What did I do to get back on the wagons? That's not supposed to be an S. What did I do to get back on the wagon? Getting back on the wagon. So after my binge on day 626, I got right back on a fast. I completed a 43-hour fast and I went from 169.6 to 161.8 pounds. So lost nearly 8 pounds there. Now, let me get this out there to everyone. Yeah, I gained 30 pounds on the scale over 35 days, 34 days. But you and I both know that I didn't gain 30 pounds of fat in 30 days. A lot of that is water weight. Yes, a good amount was also fat. There, I can't lie to you when I said my binge days probably came in at 15,000 calories. I would say probably on average the last 2 days, but maybe even closer to 20,000. I wasn't sitting there calculating anything. I was just emotionally eating and just telling myself, don't worry about it today, figure it out later. And I obviously gained weight, but I did not gain 30 pounds of fat in 34 days. I also didn't lose 8 pounds after a 43-hour fast. But just for transparency's sake and to show you all what the scale said, on day 627, I got down to 161.8. 2 days later, on day 629, I completed another 43-hour fast and I dropped down to 155.8, dropping now 13.8 pounds in 4 days. And then today, day 631, this morning, I weighed in at 153.8 pounds. So I'm down almost 16 pounds in 6 days. Like I said, I didn't lose 16 pounds of fat in 6 days. A good amount of that was water weight. Hopefully, there is some fat that went along with it, because God knows I could afford to lose that weight. I don't like seeing myself in the 150s. I would love to be back in the 140s, but I would love to break into the 130s again. And as I talk about this, I will state again the fact that, yes, I overate for a week. I binged on those 2 days. I had a month of on and off days where I ate mindlessly and then got back into ADF and then ate mindlessly and got back into ADF and then ate mindlessly and binged and got back into ADF. But you can see throughout the last 34 days or the last 40 days now, adding these last couple days, I have continued to progress. I have continued to get up and show accountability where I can. And right now I am doubling down on that accountability. And that's why I'm live streaming to all of you right now at 1:30 in the afternoon here in Chicago, instead of just doing my weekly Sunday night live streams, because I need to show accountability in that way. Yes, I have a lot on my plate right now. I have 8 million things to do, but the least I can do is hit go live and share with you all where my progress is so that I don't fall off. I don't really care if I can't put videos out right now and make polished work. And I'm not here right now to try to like grow my base. I mean, it would be great to do that and build the community. But I think right now my priority is making sure that this move goes smoothly. And 2, I don't go off the rails and lose myself, because that's the last thing that I would want happening. So my objective today is I'm going to be breaking at around the 42-hour mark. Just for all of you to see, I'm currently 38 hours and 20 minutes fasted. So I'm going to be breaking a little later today, maybe at around 6 o'clock is my guess, maybe 6:30. And my goal is to keep myself under 3,000 calories and have 190 grams of protein. 3,000 calories might sound like a lot, but I'm also fasting every other day. So I'm putting myself at a caloric deficit. Also, this is a lot better than my refeeds where I eat 6,000 calories on my refeeds. Plus, I get to eat every other day, which means I get to have energy to lift weights every other day. It's a really good, at least for me, it's a really good rhythm that works. So here's the thing. It's not just about my fasting and the way I eat. I have to reiterate that a lot of this also is the activity that I perform. I do walk a lot. I live in the city. I do a lot of walking. I pretty much walk everywhere. When I go to the store, when I go to the train, obviously, there's a ton of steps, like staircases that I climb. Pretty much anything I do is involving me walking somewhere. And even if I do drive, on the occasion that I do drive, I usually will park far away so I get more steps in. When I go to the train, I don't take the escalator, I climb the stairs. Why? Because why not? I mean, that's how it works for me. And if you look at these steps, right? In the last 6 days, 26,000, 18,000, 15,000, 14, 17. I'm currently 13,000 steps in, but I'm also strength training. Yesterday, the other day, and then the day before that, I'm at the gym lifting weights. So I am putting all the pieces into place. I am hitting my timer, making sure I get my fasts in. I am being careful about what I eat, being a lot more mindful in the choices that I make, but not doing it in an extreme, right? And I say the same thing about fasting. It's not extreme. I'm not sitting here doing 14-day fasts or month-long fasts, and there's nothing wrong with doing that if you can healthily do so. But I know that when I push long fasts like that, it's because I'm thinking in a very all or nothing type way. So here's me right now putting control in my fasts. Here's me right now putting control in the way I eat. I might not be eating 6,000, 7,000 calories like I normally have on my refeeds, but I'm also not eating like a bird and eating 1,200 calories. I'm finding a balance that works for me to do an alternate day fast while still eating around 3,000 calories. And sometimes that number bumps up. Sometimes it's 3,200, sometimes it's 3,500. Either way, I'm being mindful and I'm being aware. And I think that's a big part, or that is a big part of my growth and development over the years of doing this. So let's see here. Breaking bad habits. The power of accountability. I'm trying to look at where my notes are. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly go over this and talk about how my bad habits have been instilled in me for so long, for 4 decades, that if you are like me and you have this all or nothing mindset and you have this black and white thinking of I'm either doing it all today or I'm going to do absolutely nothing and eat whatever I want and I'm not going to take care of X, Y, and Z because I'm going to push it off until tomorrow. If you're like me and you've had that habit for years, and like I said, for me, for decades, if you're new to my channel, I'm 44 years old. This has been pretty much a habit of mine for 4+ decades. And the one thing I've learned with myself is these things don't change overnight. These things take time to break. And that's why every single day I hit my fasting timer. That's why every single day I'm filling out my spreadsheet to the best of my ability. Yes, there are days that I don't always fill it out, but I will fill it out eventually. Many of you who have access to my spreadsheet see that every single day gets filled out. That's why I keep myself on this routine. Every day I wake up, step on the scale, get my shoes on, go for a walk. Every other day now, I go lift weights. But you all saw that on day 1 of my journey. I was already lifting weights at the very beginning. These habits have started to stick. So even when the bad days come, even when I had those binging moments, right? The habits that I have been doing now for 600+ days have really started to stick. So this is the first point, is bad days will eventually come. And when I talk about bad days, they're not necessarily bad in that type of way. Sometimes it's a family outing. Sometimes you're celebrating with friends. Sometimes you're going on vacation. But you all know what I mean when bad days will come, because those days, a vacation, a social gathering, going to a party, usually involves drink and food. And sometimes you find yourself eating things that maybe you typically wouldn't eat. And then the moment you do, you're like, well, I might as well eat everything now. I say this because this is something that happens to me. It's something that's happened to me recently. And maybe old Jerome would be like, well, today's shot. What's the point of doing anything? Why do anything at all? Versus today, where it's like, okay, not the best day, but now I have calories in me. I'm going to go make sure that I lift heavy the next day. I'm going to make sure I get back into my routine. So those bad days will come. I mean, obviously, there are other bad days. Sometimes it's the loss of a loved one. Sometimes it's receiving bad news, something happening at work, you losing your job, right? Things like that. Sometimes they're so heavy that you don't even want to think about anything you're doing at that moment. And all you care about then is finding a way to comfort. And for many of us, food is that way to comfort. I guess what I'm trying to tell you right now, though, is what matters is how you react to that afterwards. Sometimes in the moment, there isn't much that you can do. And maybe what matters then is, can you show accountability? Can you get yourself out there and tell yourself that it's a moment in time, the moment will pass, and you're going to be better for it because you're aware of it rather than just pretending it's not happening. And this is where damage control really comes in. So the one thing that I like to think about when I have days like this is how can I minimize the damage of overeating on that day? Sometimes for me, it's as easy as, well, I have some extra calories in me, so I should be able to really lift well at the gym. Maybe what it means then is, okay, maybe you had a bad lunch, meaning you ate the things that maybe you didn't want to eat, but it doesn't mean you still can't have a good dinner, that you can't make better choices, right? It is performing damage control in that type of way. I don't know what other slides or bullet points I have here. I'm like looking at my notes and trying to figure it out here. Yeah, and really one of the big things here is, can you stop the all or nothing behavior? Does it always have to be a black and white type situation? If you do eat a certain way and you feel bad about it, does it mean that it's a fuck all day and nothing matters anymore? This is something I pretty much try to tell myself every day. Can I stop this behavior? Can I change what I'm doing? And the one thing I've learned, right, is it doesn't happen overnight. These are really bad habits that eventually need to break. Lessening the frequency is one of the ways I look at this. Is when I look at my binge day on day 624 and 625, that's a lot better than binging every day for the last 2+ years. And for me, the fact that it only happened once or twice in the last 625 days, I take that as a win. I take it as a win that I stopped it, I got myself back on, and I'm pushing forward. So lessening the frequency is probably more important sometimes than just thinking, oh, well, I fucked up, so let's start over. Let's day one everything. Building better habits is how you're going to get there. That's how you lessen the frequency. That's how you at least minimize or perform damage control on the all or nothing behavior. It's about making sure that your routine stays solid, that you can show up for yourself, that you can be accountable in that type of way. That's really the best way I can share how that goes. At least for me. I think many of us were rooted in bad habits. Many of us find ourselves in this situation of all or nothing, black and white thinking. And sometimes, and I take this from personal experience, when I'm coaching people and they tell me, I used to do this before, but this is what's happening now. Or I don't know why I do X, Y, and Z. I don't know why it happens. I don't know why I put myself in this situation. And a lot of times I think it's out of habit. There's a psychological piece in there that gets really difficult. And then we find ourselves using food as a way to cope. It's something I've learned about myself is on the last 600+ days, on the days where I've been doing really well, I found myself coping not with food, but coping through procrastination. And procrastination, like I had talked about, me moving and trying to sell this TV and this couch and everything I own before I move, it's overwhelming. And not only did I use food for comfort, but obviously I procrastinated on top of that. And it's the one thing that I did notice: when food is removed out of the equation, that procrastination really finds its way in. And procrastinating and pushing things aside, it's like, for a while, I had the food part figured out. And now I'm doing this other shitty thing. But I think a lot of it is a response to stress. It's a response to not wanting to deal with things. And the only way I was able to get out of this situation was I had a checklist. I was like, perform whatever you can off of this. Spend 5 minutes, spend 10 minutes, just take care of what you can and keep it moving. And I will say, performing actions is obviously better than inaction, but even to spend 5 to 10 minutes doing something and making sure that I'm getting shit done makes me feel a whole hell of a lot better. It takes a lot of the stress away from me. And even though I still have so much to do today's the 28th right now, I have just a little over a month before I have to move out of here. And I still have so much to do. And a lot of that is very anxiety inducing. It's nerve wracking. But nothing is going to be solved by food. Nothing's going to be solved by eating my worries away and laying on this couch and watching TV, even though that's what I did for an entire week. And in the last couple weeks, in the last 5 weeks, I was doing the same thing. There was a lot of shit I had to do, and I kept pushing it aside. And I was pushing it aside by eating back-to-back days and doing mindless eating. It's a big shift. I'm just glad that I'm here performing it now and finding success and pushing forward. Like I said, today's going to be a shorter live stream. I'm going to do this every single day. I haven't figured out the exact structure of how I do this, but to continue showing accountability as well, like I showed you where I'm at currently fasting wise. I am down about 16 pounds, but I'm still up in weight, weighing in at 100 and what was I at? 153.8. But we got to do fit check because I'm going to do this every day. I just want to keep myself accountable in that way. So yes, I'm happy that I've gone from 169.6 down to 153.8, but I still have a lot of work to do. I'd like to break back into the 140s, and I would absolutely love to break into the 130s and get this extra fat off of me. I can't even wear my compressed shirts right now because I'm too big at the moment. I put too much weight on to properly wear them. I can't wear really my youth shirts at the moment. Yesterday I did, but nothing looks right on me right now. But again, for accountability's sake, I'm currently wearing a size small. This shirt is from Japan, so it's already a smaller size. But just quick fit check. And you'll see, I don't have that compression shirt. So you'll see the fat right here. You'll see me grabbing at it right here. But fit check, 153.8 right now. Side shot. Rear. Side. And hopefully, this is also good for me too when I look at this in the future and I see where I'm at and where I'm going, because I would love to do fit check then when I'm in the low 140s and hopefully in the future in the low 130s. So at this point, and maybe there aren't any questions, which is fine, but I have maybe about 20 minutes. And if not, we'll cut this. But if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I'll answer what I can, try to help out where I can. In the meantime, if you have any questions while you're typing them away, if you are looking for additional help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, I mean, one of the things I talk about a lot is accountability, and accountability coaching, I think, is really helpful because it's what I'm doing right now. I'm showing you accountability in that way. You can go to finallyfasting.com to book a session. It's literally a coaching session where you and I talk, put a plan and a strategy together, and I hold you to it. I'm not here to slap you on the wrist if you're not able to do it, but sometimes knowing that there's somebody at your side being accountable can be helpful, something to take a look at. You can also find merch on the site. If you're looking for something like stickers, I have them on my moleskins. Or hats. I'm not going to do this every day because I feel like this is too much. I'm wearing one right now, but and they're snapbacks. You can go to finallyfasting.com. Just putting that out there. Also, for anybody who is wondering if you want your name at the beginning of the live stream, you can be part of the Finally Fasting fam. There is a link in the description to join. We have Wednesday night live streams for the higher tier where we have a communal coaching session. So if it's something you're interested in, please feel free to check it out. I don't think we have any other questions. So I know people are commenting here, which is great. I love to see it. I see people just talking about their journey, and hopefully you're showing accountability in that way. I mean, Chalitha, am I saying that right? Chalitha is saying here, hope my technique is fine. And I'm not sure what this technique is. I started my fasting journey last week, Monday, and broke on Friday. You lost a ton going from 138 kg to 134 or 139 to 134, then had a refeed and started the fast and broke the fast again yesterday. Now I started week 2. I'm going to start walking and swimming while fasting. My plan is to reach 129 by Friday. Hope my technique is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with your technique, but here's the thing. When you say something like my plan is to reach 129 by Friday, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying don't hold yourself to that number. And if you don't reach 129, then you're going to be like, well, what's the point? And I know you probably don't think that because you're already getting results doing what you're doing, but don't hold yourself to a number. Don't let that number mess with your head. That's my only advice for you. If you feel good getting through the fast and you're energetic and you're able to push forward, keep it up. Maybe what this means is every day you let me know how you're doing, that your fasts are going well and you're continuing to lose weight. So keep it going. Keep it going. Thank you, John. I'm just looking at some of the other comments here. Writer Family says, I find strength in your challenges because I know I'm not alone and the struggle is real. Thank you for sharing your journey. You're very welcome. I mean, this is the least I can do is give you all a glimpse of what life is like for me and how I deal with things. But I'm also doing this for myself as well. I need this accountability because it's what keeps me going. Writer Family says, or asks, Jerome, could you share what you told yourself to break the binge? I guess the best way I can put this, writer, is I don't know if I really told myself anything per se. It's not like I was trying to psych myself up, but I felt awful after binging for 2 straight days and eating 15, 20,000 calories, maybe more. I don't know the exact number. That's an old habit of mine though, too, is I eat so much and I feel awful. And for me, a lot of it, like I said, was I was overwhelmed. I had a laundry list of things to do and I kept pushing it off. And the best way I was able to push it off was by binging. So I'm pretty sure I fell asleep binging that evening. And then I woke up at like 5 something in the morning because listen, when you eat the way I do, you're not able to sleep. I was just a mess. So when I woke up in the morning at 5 something in the morning, I was just like, it's time to go. It's time to stop this. It's time to stop pushing aside the things that I need to do because I'm scared and I'm nervous and I'm anxious to get them done. I said this yesterday, but discomfort, feeling uncomfortable is how you grow. Me standing up here, even though I don't want to, because I feel a certain way, hey, that's me being uncomfortable, but at least it's honest and it's my opportunity to grow and learn. That's kind of how I looked at it, Ryder. I don't know if I said anything specific. I just said, just do work. And that's literally what I did because on that day I got up, I walked 26,000 steps. And it wasn't like I was walking extra. I had so much to do. I had to clean my apartment. I had to get my car started because sometimes my car sits for so long because I don't drive it that the battery dies and I had to take care of all this shit. And I just started going. And since Wednesday, every single day since Wednesday, like again, today I was up at 5 in the morning and I'm just going and I'm just moving and I'm just working and I'm just trying to like push forward. That's maybe the best way I can put it. So hopefully that's helpful. Wandering Traveler with a $2 super chat. Wandering Traveler, thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Wandering Traveler says, I'm bouncing back with you. Been a hard few weeks. I'm glad you're here. Again, thank you so much for the support. But to know that you're here and to know that, hey, anyone who's here right now, we're doing this every single day. It's not always going to be at this time. It's only going to be when I'm available. So it could be in the early afternoon. It could be late at night. It could be at 5 a.m. It could be at midnight. I don't think it's going to be at any of those times. But all I'm saying is I need to show accountability, and I want to show up every single day to let you all know that I'm doing what I need to do. But I'm glad, Wandering Traveler, that you're here and you're back in it. So whatever that looks like for you, maybe what that means is you share with us every day and you show us how things are going and you show accountability, whether it's good or bad. So thank you again for sharing. Yeah, Lori says moving out of the country is a very tall order and stressful. It is. And it's been on my mind for a while, obviously. And when I finally made the decision, instead of actually acting on it, I kept procrastinating. And that's kind of why I got put in this place over the last couple of weeks. Celeste says, currently struggling to break out of a binge, restrict cycle after feeling discouragement from a major plateau. How do I go about breaking the cycle and dulling the food noise? So Celeste, maybe this is the best way to put it too, is show up not only for yourself, but if you see me live streaming, because I'm going to be doing it every day, show up for that. Let us know how you're doing. Maybe that might help you knowing that you're not doing it alone. When you're in this binge restrict cycle, is it because you're doing this all or nothing type thing? You have no middle ground whatsoever? I don't know what your fasting cycle is like. I don't know if you're telling yourself, okay, I'm going to do a 3-day fast now or a 4-day fast. But one of the questions I ask many people that I coach is, do you have a backup plan? If that plan doesn't go according to plan, I feel like I always say that. If your fasting regimen doesn't go according to plan, do you have a backup plan to help you there? And if not, it might be time to start thinking about that. And really, the way I look at this too is if you want to break that cycle of binge, restrict, all or nothing, you have to find some middle ground wherever you can. A bad eating day doesn't mean that the day is shot. A bad eating day just means that maybe you're going to get more steps in. Maybe a bad eating day means that you're going to end it early and make sure you make some better food choices. A bad eating day might mean that you now have extra calories to lift later in the evening. It's starting to build better habits, whatever that might look like for you. I don't know what your cycle, what your routine looks like is what I mean. I don't know what your day-to-day looks like, but if you ever want to reach out to me, maybe that's something that we can discuss and put together and help you abide by some type of routine. I know it's probably not the answer you're looking for because, to be honest, there isn't just one straight shot answer. There isn't one thing that you can do that's just going to like turn everything around. But like I said, even for me, I told myself if I want to turn this ship around after eating back-to-back days and binging and having out of control moments this last month, I knew I had to do something different. I knew I had to be more accountable. And that's why I'm here right now, live streaming, sharing with you all what's going on in my life, standing up in front of the camera, even though I don't want to, because that accountability is really, really important to me. So just thought I'd share to maybe give you some inspiration as well. Debbie, hi, Debbie. Debbie says, sorry, I've been traveling and out of the loop. It's fine. Where are you moving, Jerome? I'm moving to the Philippines. People were asking me yesterday where I was moving to and why and all of these things. And I mean, I think many of you who have been watching me for a while have seen me traveling a lot more lately. And I made this decision a couple months ago that I was going to do something different. And so that is the current plan. I have to be out of this apartment by the end of August, and I'm still going to be here in the States for a little bit afterwards. But in the meantime, I have a lot to do, and that's pretty much how things are going right now. So now you're filled in. I'm just reading the other comments here. Grizzy, keep us posted. Keep us posted on your progress and how things are going. Wandering Traveler also says, I gained 20 pounds in the last 5 weeks. Back on fasting where I know it works. Self-control was out the door, but it's knocking again. I weighed in this morning and now on a 100-hour fast. And, you know, and that's the same advice goes to you, Wandering Traveler, right? Is if the 100-hour fast doesn't go according to plan, I hope you know what a backup plan looks like. And if that backup plan means you end up breaking at 43 hours or 78 hours, and I don't say that to discourage you, I say it as knowing what an actual plan looks like, that you're able to give yourself grace and be like, okay, you know what? I didn't fast as long as I intended to, so I'm going to make sure I eat better. I'm going to make sure I don't overeat and I keep my calories in check, that I have as much protein as I can, that I make better decisions than eating ultra processed foods, right? It's really trying to figure out how you find a middle ground with everything that you're doing. Okay, everyone. I think that's it for me today. We're going to do this again tomorrow. What time we're going to do this at, I have no idea. It's only going to be when I have free time to have this discussion. So I know I have a coaching session in a little bit after this anyway, so I do need to wrap things up here. But tomorrow I will give you an update of where I'm at. Tonight I'm refeeding, so my weight is going to go up tomorrow, but that's okay, because then tomorrow is going to be a lifting day, because I'm going to lift right after I refeed tomorrow or tonight, and we're just going to keep this moving. I'm finding my way down on the scale. Like I said, I'm down almost 16 pounds in 6 days. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not happy being in the mid 150s right now, but what can I do? There's nothing I can do, right? I can't sit here and cry about it and eat a bunch of food, because that's not going to fix anything. All that I can do right now is continue moving forward, being accountable, showing you all that this can work, and you're going to see that as the days go on. So with that being said, that's all I got. We're going to do it again tomorrow. It might not be this long. I actually didn't think I was going to be streaming for close to an hour here. Usually they'll be shorter just to give you all updates, but I just do this to let you know that I'm here and you're not alone. So until tomorrow, we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.